Hi folks, and welcome to Cord Cutting Weekly. We're back this week. I know we stepped away last week, but it doesn't look like anything interesting actually happened in the world of cord cutting and streaming. Whoa, okay, fair enough. Anyways, glad to be back. If this is your first time visiting, welcome. This is where we wrap up the past week in cord cutting and streaming news, and this week we're going to discuss Hulu and Discovery reaching a content deal, more cable price hikes, new Fire TV models, and more. But first, yes, if you haven't gotten around to it just yet, feel free to take a moment to click those like and subscribe buttons down below. Those will really help us out and you'd be joining an awesome group. And with all that being said, it's time to return to the news, starting with Hulu and Discovery. In Hulu news, the streaming service has reached a deal with Discovery that will allow Discovery-owned channels to remain on Hulu's live TV lineup. This deal comes after reports that those channels could be dropped from the service. However, while the agreement allows those live channels to remain, it looks like Discovery's on-demand content will be leaving Hulu and headed, perhaps unsurprisingly, to the new Discovery Plus streaming platform. For example, live channels like HGTV, TLC, and others will still be available on Hulu's live TV streaming plan, but shows like Fixer Upper and 90 Day Fiancé will leave the on-demand lineup and head to Discovery's own streaming service. Of course, that change might be bad news for fans of those shows who have been leveraging access on Hulu, but the move does make sense for Discovery as it looks to bolster its own young streaming platform and add in some of its own hits that have been available elsewhere on other services. For now, though, we're continuing to keep an eye on this story and we'll share updates as we learn more. And speaking of Hulu, it looks like the streaming service could be in the market for more unscripted original content. We've seen reports this week that Hulu is accepting pitches for unscripted content covering a variety of genres, including reality, true crime, cooking, and others. Of course, original exclusive content is the in thing right now, as the streaming landscape gets more and more competitive and each platform tries to find unique ways to attract consumers. Hulu itself has already seen a lot of success in original content, including hits like The Handmaid's Tale, but it really hasn't dabbled in unscripted offerings, at least not to the extent of some of its competitors, like say Peacock with The Amber Ruffin Show or the various unscripted lifestyle options over on Discovery Plus. And as we just mentioned in the previous post, Hulu could soon lose access to some of Discovery's unscripted shows, so the move to develop more original content makes sense here, and it's definitely something we'll keep an eye on moving forward. In traditional cable news, we've got more price hikes to discuss. Earlier this week, we learned that Charter Spectrum has started informing its customers that monthly charges are going to increase. According to the notice, the broadcast surcharge for all TV plans will jump from $16.45 per month to $17.99 per month. In all, that broadcast surcharge increase means Spectrum cable customers will be paying around $216 per year for the broadcast TV fee. There are two exceptions there. The TV Stream and TV Choice plans will see a surcharge jump from $8.95 to $12.95 per month. Equipment fees for HD boxes will go up by $1 a month to $8.99, and Latino View will also increase by $1 to $9.99 per month. And if you want to learn more about those most recent price hikes, you can check out our post linked down below in the video description. Meanwhile, Paramount Plus has some big plans for the future. CEO Bob Bakish said this week that the company will be, quote, ramping up, unquote, original movies in 2022 and will start averaging an original movie per week. The service is also kicking off a new marketing campaign to highlight new films coming to the recently revamped streaming service. In particular, recent blockbusters like Skyfall and Rocketman are slated to arrive on Paramount Plus soon. And Bakish also confirmed that A Quiet Place 2 will be made available on the service 45 days after its theatrical release, which is currently set for Memorial Day weekend. Meanwhile, the Paramount film Infinite is set to skip theaters altogether and head straight to the streaming service in June. In all, it'll be interesting to see how well Paramount Plus performs for the remainder of 2021 and into 2022, when its schedule for original movies kicks into high gear. If you've been using the service so far, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below. This week we've got some more hardware news to discuss. Amazon announced a new line of 4K capable Fire TV TVs, courtesy of manufacturer Toshiba. The new C350 series starts with a 43-inch model and eventually will include much larger options like a 75-incher. These new TVs boast 4K resolution, HDR10 and Dolby Vision support, and more. The first options on sale are the 43 and 50-inch models, which are currently available for pre-order on both Amazon and Best Buy. Those are expected to ship sometime in mid-May. The 43-incher retails for $349.99 and the 50-inch option goes for $469.99. Meanwhile, Amazon says 55, 65, and 75-inch options will be available sometime later this year. So if you've been looking for a new 4K TV that's got some Fire TV smarts built right in, you've got some new choices available. If you're interested, make sure you check out our post linked down below, yes, in the video description. In Disney Plus news, the streaming service has opted to move up the premiere date of its new Marvel Studios series, Loki. In a video starring Tom Hiddleston himself, we learned that the show will now debut on Wednesday, June 9th, and as with earlier Marvel shows like WandaVision and The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki will follow a weekly release schedule. So after the show debuts on June 9th, you'll be able to check out new episodes as they're released on following Wednesdays. And while we all wait for the premiere, feel free to share your thoughts on the 2 earlier Marvel shows in the comment section down below. Meanwhile, you can find out more about Loki's premiere in the post link down below in the video description. This week, YouTube TV finally landed on Sony's PlayStation 5 console. Its arrival comes around 6 months or so after the hard-to-find console first debuted, but it's officially now among the list of supported devices. The live TV streaming service appeared on the older PS4 console back in January of 2020 and was among the first streaming apps available on rival Microsoft's Xbox Series S and Series X consoles when those debuted back in November of 2020. And yes, YouTube TV and Roku are still working out their differences, but on the bright side, we've got another device platform available offering up the live TV streaming service. The app is available now, and if you happen to own a PlayStation 5, you can find it by navigating over to the media section and exploring the currently available apps. And in Locast news, the free-ish local streaming service announced that it's added another market to its lineup. Residents in the Tri-Cities area of northeastern Tennessee, including Bristol, Johnson City, and Kingsport, have officially been added as the service's 32nd market. In all, the addition brings some 27 local channels to Tri-City residents, and that includes WCYB NBC5, WEMT Fox 39, WJHL ABC CBS 11, and more. The service is available in 19 counties in the Tri-City areas, which also includes regions in Kentucky and Virginia. And if you happen to be in that area, or if you're just new to Locast in general, you can check out our recent video deep dive on the service to find out what it's all about. We'll add a link to that video down below as well. And that brings us to the end of yet another busy week here at Cord Cutting Weekly. As always, thank you all for tuning in. And again, if you haven't done so already, feel free to click on those all-important like and subscribe buttons down below. They really do help us out and they enable us to produce more content for the future, and we certainly appreciate it. On Wednesdays, Jess hosts our live Q&A sessions, and then on Thursdays, we dive deep into specific topics like software updates, hardware reviews, and more, like this week's review of the Roku Voice Remote Pro. And then we've got Cord Cutting Weekly here every Friday, well, almost every Friday, where we wrap up the past week in cord cutting and streaming news. For now, though, thanks again for checking us out, and be sure to check out our video description for links to all the stories we discussed in today's video. Those will take you over to our news website, cordcuttersnews.com, where you can stay up to date on all things streaming 24/7. And until next time, my name is Philip Palermo. Thanks again. We'll see you all next week. Take care.